Hey, I'm Winston from Parkway Drive.
I'm Jeff
from Parkway Drive. And you're watching Metal Down Under.
The first time I saw Parkway Drive, and Nathan there behind the camera, was 2003 at the Manning Bar, pretty sure. And now I'm seeing you in 2010 playing here in Newcastle at one of the biggest venues in this town. But it's incredible to see where you guys have come from to where you are now. Because at one point, I think when you played the Forum just before you went to, before the US.
The other day, yeah.
In my mind, I remember seeing that, comparing that to when I'd seen you at the Manning Bar, and I just thought, you know what, there's no way this can get any bigger.
Yep. Welcome to our entire existence.
How does it feel being at the point you are now?
To be honest, like, this tour has been the first time that it's actually hit home.
Right.
And the River Stage was the first time it hit home for me. Looking out on that many people, like literally a hillside of people, and it was the first time I realised, holy crap, these people are actually coming to see us. No one in their right mind would ever aim for this.
Yeah.
And especially at the time we started, like we just wanted to make music that made our friends mosh and that challenged us to play. Somehow, it just keeps getting bigger and bigger. So we're at this stage now. It's bizarre.
If it wasn't for music, Jeff, what do you think you'd be doing now if it wasn't for this band?
Well, previously I worked in a video store, so I'd imagine I would have been fired by that. So what would be a step down from the video store?
What I was doing? Making bad burgers and burning coffees.
Something rough, put it that way.
Yeah.
Yeah.
There's not many options in our town, so yeah, we would have been
pretty limited.
Yeah.
When we look back through history, bands, you know, like Black Sabbath and Napalm Death came from Birmingham in the UK, which is a very grotty working class town. It seems kind of ironic that a band as heavy as Parkway Drive surfaced out of Byron Bay.
That started with, it's basically just the energy. It's the energy of the music, not so much the attitude of the music. Although, like, the lyrics that I write and obviously sing mean a hell of a lot to me, and I try and write about things that mean something, but it's the energy of playing that we get out of it that comes through the heaviness. That's what drives the band in the direction it does, as opposed to the upbringing and the social background behind it, and us trying to rage against society in the sonic sense. So yeah.
Yeah, it's not really so much like, you know, oh, we're so angry. Like, for some reason, that's, you know, for us, it's just, you know, this loud, you know, great music. And yeah, I mean, and Winston does his thing, and I don't know, it's got nothing to do with, like, you know, the usual hating everything. You know, we're actually quite positive people. So yeah, it is a physical outlet for us. Like, the music that we write drives us to do that, and it's exciting for us.
How you doing, Dewey?
Called Deep Blue, and it's 13 songs, which is the longest. It's definitely the longest album we've ever written. I think that makes sense. We've only written 3 albums, so yeah. But the idea behind it was just to write in a similar fashion that I've done in the past, which is writing individual songs, but try and put into those songs also a narrative that flowed from the beginning to the end, so you could listen to the record, and if you chose to listen to it in one go and chose to follow the lyrics, you could follow it as a story from start to finish. And if you chose to listen to them in individual songs, they still made sense and stood by themselves. And the actual content of it as a story simply followed a man or a person in the world basically looking for some kind of truth and meaning in a place that he's become disenchanted with. And he goes to the bottom of the ocean and seeks solitude to try and find that within himself, and I guess the resultant consequence of what that search does to him. So.
What about the title Deep Blue? What was the inspiration behind that?
Obviously the ocean plays a large part as the theme through a lot of my writing, and it suited the feel of the record and what we were writing at the time. And when I told these guys, they were like, yeah, it seems right. And the name actually came about from funny story, but our guitarist and I and him were out in a boat one day, and we lost a boat, and we had to go and drive over the horizon to try and find this missing boat, which sounds really, really random, but this is actually what happened. And we're out in the middle of the ocean, literally land was just on the horizon, and dead calm day, and the water was crystal blue, but when you actually get out that deep, you look at it and it's blue, but at the same time it's like the darkest thing you've ever seen in your life. Like, it literally absorbs light, and that's where the title Deep Blue came from. It's just absolutely, it was terrifying.
Going back 5 years, I guess Australian bands perhaps weren't as well received overseas as maybe they are now. How, since you guys have been over there enough, how do you see it now? How is our scene translating overseas, I guess?
I think it is translating. It's I think it's such a shitty thing to say, but the internet's had such a massive impact. Yeah. Like, it's understandable that our scene hadn't, well, music from Australia wasn't received that massively overseas before the net, simply because how the hell would you get it? Yeah. Like, unless you were a charting band, like, no one would even know you existed. And we went over a few years after MySpace started, and no one hardly even knew who we were. And since then, like, I guess since we've started going over there, it's grown a lot for us, and the shows are really good. And I guess with that, it may have turned people onto the fact there is music in Australia, and they go out of their way to find it. Yeah. You see like t-shirts of bands and kids asking you about the most random bands that you've never even heard of, or that you've heard of, that are absolutely tiny, and the kids are saying, do you know these guys? And you're like, they're from like Fitzroy and they've played one show, how the hell do you know these guys? So it's, yeah, that wouldn't be a situation that you'd be in 5 years ago. So yeah, people are definitely paying attention to Australia.
What do you think about domestically? Do you think metalheads and hardcore kids are gelling better now at shows, or? Definitely,
yeah. Like, it's well, actually, you know what? It's really hard to judge, just because our shows are so, it's gone even beyond that these days. Like, it used to be those were the only two kinds of people that you would see at shows, and even then it was reasonably polarised. Whereas now there's every spectrum of people, at our shows, which is just bizarre. We don't know how it happened, but it's pretty awesome. But at the same time, everyone seems to get along, and I'm not sure if it changes once it's not a Parkway show, but I'd like to think not. I'd like to think not.
I know there's always been this big debate about, is Parkway Drive a metal band, and I know, Winston, you don't necessarily view Parkway as a metal band per se.
No, we don't. To be honest, we don't really care what people say. Like, and we definitely understand that the music we make sounds metal, and there's definitely it has way more of a metal sound than it has a hardcore sound. So, but I think all we try and say these days is music. Yeah. That's it. If you label yourself, you lose your freedom. Yeah. Like, if you say,
you know, I'm a metal band, that means you're not really supposed to do, you know, other kind of stuff.
Yeah, and as soon as you label yourself something and you try and do something else, you start letting people down. So we play our music. We come from a certain background, and we like making the music we like. And if people want to say this is that, it's still not going to change the way it sounds.
So call us a music band.
Yeah,
we're a music band. We play music.
Yeah, but we're more than like. That being said, we're completely stoked that people from within whatever culture or scene, be it hardcore, metal, punk, thrash, pop, whatever, have backed this band or tried to say they're part of our culture, because that's definitely a compliment as opposed to anything. Let's just stand up! Fucking incredible.